Phoenix here with the Premier League awards. We'll be doing this, of course, for the Serie A as well tomorrow. La Liga, Champions League, combined everything. I feel like we have everything covered. Holy moly. You guys are right. My hairline is going. What the? May need to bring a prime buttcut Kurt again. Anyways, we got everything covered, you name it. Let's get straight into this. As always, I feel like I'm in the best position to answer these questions. If you disagree with anything, feel free to let me know. I don't think anything here is debatable, but as always, I am open to having my mind changed. So feel free to let me know if I have any of the following incorrect. Let's get straight into it. I'm so excited. Best goalkeeper of the season. It's between two for me. Sels and Alisson. We know on general ability, Alisson is of course number one, but he did miss a pretty large chunk of the season. Sels, on the other hand, for me was absolutely fantastic. So I've given it to Sels. Sorry, Ali, you narrowly miss out. Up next, best defender of the season. I don't think there's any debates about this one. It is Big Verge. It had to be. No debates whatsoever. Best midfielder of the season. You know, from the ones I've done, this is, I think, the most contested one. Because there's a few names, but I narrowed it down to two. It was a head-to-head between two players. But I've gone for one. Because, funnily enough, there's certain team of the seasons that I've even seen from people leaving out this player, which, for me, it's absolutely unfathomable. I've gone with, if we're talking only Premier League, Moise Caicedo. I'm in love with this player. He's got everything. He has everything to become not just the next Kante, but one of the greatest Premier League midfielders of all time. Hefty price tag, but the fact that nobody's talking about it anymore tells you everything you need to know. How good he is. He's the heartbeat of Chelsea. It was between him and Gravenberch. And Gravenberch could easily be here as well. I'm not going to argue with people putting Gravenberch. But for me, on general ability, there's no conversation between the two. Who's had the better season? There is a debate. But Caicedo, considering also he played in a system and in a team which is worse than the Liverpool one. And as a result, I think, if anything, to be fair, he stood out even more. Absolutely fantastic footballer. Up next, best forward of the season. No debates whatsoever. I don't know the numbers of the top of my head. So I think 29 goals he finished, 18 assists, I believe. No debate. Best young player of the season. Now listen, for me, this one, I do it a bit different. I think the Premier League official one, they say it's 23 and under, is it? Which is absolutely ridiculous. For me, I've gone 21 and under. That's what I define a young player, 21 or under. 22, 23, they're grown adults. As a result, the decision for me was a very simple one. I only see one obvious answer. The man on his way to Real Madrid. The fact that they got him for just 15 million off of Juventus, I will forever love at that. It's one of the biggest F-ups in recent years, maybe even of all time, by any team. The fact that they then used that 15 million to buy Lloyd Kelly is even funnier. But of course, he's on his way to Real Madrid. Spectacular season. Bright future ahead. He's got everything. Passing ability, anticipation. His height. I think he's going to become a serious threat from corners as well once he masters his frame even more and gets the best out of that fantastic player. Can't wait to see him at Real Madrid. Up next, player of the season. No debates. Again, it is him. It is Mo Salah. It is one of the greatest Premier League campaigns of all time, even though people are going a little bit overboard, I feel, because even though the numbers could have been better because his teammates let him down, I do think they were to some degree inflated as well. A lot of deflections, a lot of penalties. I mean, I'm just saying, let's not compare this to a Suarez or a Bale campaign or a Cristiano Ronaldo campaign. It's there, but it's not on that level. Up next, manager of the season. A couple of contenders, but I've gone for Nuno. I almost find it hilarious now how people have spun the narrative because, of course, Forest were looking like they're going to get Champions League football. Now they got conference, not even Europa, but now people are making it seem like it's a complete and utter disaster. Well, I couldn't disagree more. Remember, most people had them relegated. They had them relegated. You could have given it to Hank Schrader, but we'll get into that later, right? For me, it's Nuno. It's an incredible achievement, and it doesn't take away the fact that they didn't win the FA Cup or they didn't win the Champions League or get in the Champions League. Doesn't take anything away from a fantastic, unbelievable season, and he done a spectacular job. His adaptability and versatility, how he got Forest playing to their strengths, I must massively admire. Signing of the season. To be honest with you, I don't think there was much competition. As in, obviously, we'll go through it, but I don't think the Premier League teams had a good window. If you look at it, I don't think they had a good window whatsoever. I went with value for money, Milenkovic. You could have gone Huijsen again, but Milenkovic, it's the perfect proof of a player that plays to his team's strengths. Because obviously Premtars won't mention this. They only mention it when it's the opposite way, when a player goes from the Premier League and flops in another league. But in the Serie A, Milenkovic was, I mean, not a disaster, but he wasn't that great. He played in the high line for Fiorentina and he was getting exposed time and time again. He went to Forest, they set deeper, and it suited his strengths perfectly. Was it 15 million or something? Gotta be. Signing of the season. Up next, worst signing of the season. Mikel Merino. I don't want to even hear it. I'm sorry, like, the fact that Arsenal fans tried to spin this when he had this bit of a purple patch moment into all of a sudden, like, oh, he's good. He was brought in as a midfielder. He is a terrible midfielder. I don't know what's happened to him. Maybe he can't quite adapt or he needs more time to adapt. Maybe. But he's too slow. He takes way too many touches on the ball for what he was brought in to do. For me, he's the worst signing of the season. I expected so much more from him. And it's turned out to be anything but for Arsenal. Up next, flop of the season. I was torn between two names here. I went with Phil Foden. I think it had to be Phil Foden. But there is another player here who, unfortunately, we all love him, but has to be seriously considered. It's Heung-min Son. He could have easily been here. But Foden, you know, having won the PFA Player of the Year, with De Bruyne slowing down, you think this is the moment he takes over Manchester City. And he didn't. You know, he didn't have a good preseason, or he didn't even have preseason maybe, and that had an effect. But at some point, you think he was going to kick on. There was a period that was looking like he's going to kick on, but then boom. So many bad games. That Arsenal game at the Emirates will always stick in my mind, like how bad he wasn't. It's not just that you could make a list. Again, this is of course relative expectations, because you could put Garnacho here as well. But for what I expect, that's why I mentioned Foden and Son. It's not necessarily the worst player of the season. It's the flop, like who I expected something from, and it's got to be Foden. Worst manager of the season. Pretty easy one. If it wasn't for Ten Hag and Van Nistelrooy's points, he would have had Manchester United relegated. Manchester United! Are we deep in this? But honestly, he won a game on Sunday. I couldn't believe it. You got to applaud him for that, because, wow, man. Winning a Premier League against a non-bottom three team. Chapeau. Incredible achievement. Wow. How on earth have they stuck with him? It's absolutely baffling. I mean, Manchester United are there. They need they need a manager that can get the best out of the players they have. This guy, he wants to clear everybody out. Yeah, that's going to work out. This ain't Football Manager, little bro. And I'm exposing him on Football Manager as well. Up next, team of the season. Sells in goal. Yes, Timber, right back. Why am I not seeing Timber being mentioned? I must be missing something. Milankovic, Van Dijk, Gvardiol. Same thing. Robertson had a good half. But it has to be Gvardiol. Gvardiol has to be in the team of the season. Has to be. Spectacular. Cucurella as well could low-key get in, but it's Gvardiol. Caicedo and Gravenberch, no debates. The fact that I'm seeing other people put in other names. I'm seeing McAllister being put in ahead of Gravenberch. Liverpool fans, you ought to have some shame. Gravenberch was far clear of McAllister. Tielemans. Aston Villa fans, can you please spread some more propaganda for Tielemans? I'm saying Rodgers. Tielemans was better than Rodgers. He was more important than Rodgers. But has to be in the team. Has to be. Salah obviously gets in. I put Cunha off the left. Gakpo unlucky not to get in. And Isaac up front. My flop team of the season. Some names lucky not to be in it. Muric in goal from Ipswich. No, I didn't have any expectations. I didn't know much of him, but he was a complete and utter disaster in that first half of the season. Shocking. Pedro Porro right back. Terrible. Kilman, I expected so much from West Ham. So disappointing. Archie Gray, I feel bad putting him in here because of course he's playing out of position. But we can't sugarcoat it. I mean, he was shocking. He's still young, but he was terrible. Robertson left back. Honking. Mino, I don't think it's fully his fault, but he needs to work on his physicality. Gundogan, relative to the expectations, cannot be in it. Mikel Merino, we obviously touched upon. Foden, Son has to be in there as well. And up front, Rasmus Højlund. A player here, lucky not to be in it. We'll get into that later. We'll get into that. Biggest overachievers. Some people are thinking Forest. Has to be Liverpool. Has to be. Incredible. Now, why they've overachieved, of course, there's pretty clear reasons. But yeah, I mean, for me, this is a team that had no business really, or should have had no business being in a title race. But of course, a combination with certain other teams faltering, and it resulted in Liverpool winning the league, which for me was definitely the biggest overachievement. Underachievers. A few contenders for this. But of course, it has to be Manchester United. It has to be. People think the squad is bad. No. Seeing United fans blaming the players. Fact of the matter is, if Eric Ten Hag never got sacked, he would have got them top 4. At absolute worst, top 6. To be in 15th. Obviously, Spurs could have been here as well, but absolute disaster. You could also say Arsenal for finishing second 3 seasons in a row. Manchester City by their high standards, but there only had to be one team. Game of the season. No spectacular matches this season in the Premier League, but the one I picked, maybe because it's close to my heart, because I predicted the correct spoiler here. You know, Spurs took a 2-0 lead, and then Brighton came back to make it 3-2. It was two teams just going at it, toe to toe. I totally enjoyed the Liverpool-Brighton game as well. So no coincidence, Brighton involved in many of these. Fantastic to watch. And yeah, that was my game of the season. Best individual performance of the season. Cole Palmer against Brighton. He was absolutely unplayable. The passes he was playing, the goals he was scoring. It was Palmer at his very, very best. Most underrated player of the season. Gakpo could have been here, because I don't think that's a player that gets the respect that he deserves. But it has to be Timber. Timber is in the conversation, not for the best right back in the league only, but for the best right back in world football. I don't understand why he's not in the team of the season, according to many people. I don't think I've seen anybody put him in, which is baffling. He's got it all. He's got everything. And he's only going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Most overrated player of the season. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. They were saying he's the best player in the league. In November, they were putting this guy out of Salah. Chelsea got Champions League football not because of Cole Palmer, in spite of Cole Palmer, because it's been a detriment at certain points. Maresca never taken him off, put him in the middle, destroying Nkunku. Felix had to go. They should have put him on the right, put Nkunku and Felix down the middle. They would have done much, much better. But no, they have to put him at the center. Potentially a one-season wonder. We'll see. All eyes on Cole Palmer next season, because I have big, big concerns for a player who I believe spent the entire season clip farming. Clip farming. That's how he played. Clip farming. Because he reads everything on social media and he wants to show people. No. Play it simple. Eyes on him, huh? Next season. Biggest robbery of the season. The game that changed everything. The game that made me convinced something sinister was happening in the Premier League. Liverpool get a penalty. Never was. Bournemouth should have had 2 penalties. McAllister should have been sent off. Robbery even aside of referee decisions. Bournemouth in the post. Liverpool doing absolutely nothing. It was the game that... I hate to say it, but yeah. There's no way you can look at that and be like, that's normal. That's not normal. That was not normal whatsoever. And there should have been another Liverpool player sent off. I can't remember who it was. McAllister and someone else. Maybe Konate, I can't remember. Crazy. Go back and rewatch that. Crazy stuff. And the final one. The final award. The funniest moment of the season. Maybe it's because it's a reaction, but... My man thought he was him. Garnacho thought he's Lamine Yamal. And since doing this, not only did he not do anything, he's also getting kicked out of the club. Amoran said, enough is enough. Get out of the club. My God. Man, I thought he was Lamine Yamal. Please, man. He'll be playing for Leganes in 3 years' time, if he's freaking lucky. Anyways, tell me if I've got anything incorrect. I don't believe I did. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow with the Serie A award.